Welcome to Speak Free with Matty G, the podcast that celebrates free speech, truth, and open discussion. Welcome to Speak Free with Matty G, episode 7. I am joined here today by Bayli Madill. How are you?
I'm good, Matty. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming in and doing this. I do appreciate it. So today we're going to talk motorsport and broadcasting, and which is what your career revolves around.
Two passions in my life.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And also, I think we should touch on, I guess, being a woman in such a male-dominated sport, you know, or having a role within that sport, and how that sort of impacts you personally and through your career, I guess. So yeah, if you can just give a little rundown of what you do for people who are watching who don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
That's no worries. Well, yeah, I am a junior presenter technically. I work for this company called Airtime, and they do a lot of stuff for V8 supercars, and at the moment I'm doing quite a bit with the Toyota 86 series. So they do a lot of support categories for the supercar events, which is awesome because that means I get to go to all these events, which I love. And I also do a bit of commentating for the Sydney Dragway, touch on a bit of everything, then like freelance every now and again to certain events, and work at the gym during the week to, you know, make ends meet.
Yeah, cool. So you were obviously, I mean, we're filming this, the same week it's coming out. So you were just at Eastern Greek over the weekend. If you can, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So it was Sydney Motorsport Park. So it was they're having 4 weekends. For supercars events, and for this weekend, for the first weekend, Toyota 86 was supporting. So I got to go there, got to work with the team, and did a whole bunch of interviews for all the drivers. We did a few features that were aired on the supercars and KO, which is always great, seeing our hard work coming out. So interviewed all the drivers afterwards, and it's really great because the Toyota 86 is a lot of young drivers. So most of them are 16, some of them are 24. It really changes. But at the beginning of the year when I started, they had never been interviewed before, which was great. Well, not really that great because some of them were very hard to get, great answers out of.
Yeah.
And then it's really great seeing the progress that they've made this time round because it's been such a long stint that they've had to prepare. Yeah. And same with their driving as well, which is always the best thing to see improvement. Yeah. And the answers they were giving was amazing. Like my experience as well has improved, which is great. And so it was an amazing experience. Got to interview all of them, and then also got to run around at the supercars event and see all my idols. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I think I was heavily into supercars growing up. Like my dad's a huge supercars fan, huge Holden fan growing up. I remember it was just it's very accessible for fans to meet the drivers and stuff. I think it's a lot better than a lot of other sports. In terms of that fan engagement, you can go to see them at their trucks and all that, jump out and they'll sign autographs, and it was pretty cool. I remember Win Cup as a kid, I was fanboying over him hard out. So that would be cool. Have you always been interested in motorsport since you've been young, or? So what happened was growing up, my dad and my brother raced drag cars and drag boats.
Right, yeah.
So I was raised on it. I actually never used to like it that much. I used to just love the social aspect of it, going out, making friends, talking to people, which makes so much sense about what I do now. Yeah. Just talking to people. And then as I got a bit older and started learning more about it, I just fell in love with it. I think I was about 14 and Daniel Ricciardo came on the scene for F1, and then I was watching Bathurst and Shane Van Gisbergen. It was a wet race. And Shane Van Gisbergen was going off the track to cool his tyres down, and I kept going to my brother being like, he's not very good if he keeps going off the track. And my brother's like, no, he's actually doing it on purpose, and then was explaining everything to me, and I found that really cool. Yeah. And then, I just fell in love with it ever since. The more I learned, the more I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And how did you get into, I guess, broadcasting? Did you go to uni for journalism or?
Yeah, so I study a Bachelor of Communications.
Yep.
And I've been doing that since I was 18, so I'm 21 now, so I'm in my final year. And at the beginning of it, I actually wanted to be a press officer. So I never even thought about doing presenting. Well, I did, but I was always too worried because sometimes I speak too quickly or I mumble, and I was just never a great talker. I'm still not. I like actually being the person asking the questions. But so I wanted to be a press officer for Formula One. I was really into the idea of that, so I started working with Red Bull. Got to go to a heap of motorsports events like Bathurst, working with them, which is great. And then recently, end of last year, I actually had a uni assignment which asked us to do something that we're afraid of for our career. And I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to do presenting. I may or may not get into it, but it's fine. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I fail and I stay in the same great spot that I am in now.
Yeah.
So I did that, started messaging everyone I could on LinkedIn. I'm a big believer in LinkedIn and just messaging everyone. Asked them all about how to get into presenting, any tips that they had. I ended up messaging Chad Nayland, who is a commentator for V8 Supercars, because he used to actually interview my dad when he used to do drag racing.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I messaged him and I was like, hey, want to get into presenting, what do I do? And he's like, go get a job at the drags, like get some experience in front of the mic. 2 weeks later, I come back to him and I'm like, I got the job. And he was like, really? No one really does anything when I tell them to do that. And I was like, no, I got it. And then about 2 weeks after that, he told me that his boss wanted to meet me because there's a bit of a lack of females in motorsports. So I went in, had a chat to them, and they're like, yeah, you're really passionate. Like, come on, let's go in and let's start working together. And I was a bit worried because I had no experience. So I had to tell them, and I was like, I have no experience doing this. Please be patient with me. And they're like, it's fine. As long as you love motorsports, like, that's all we care about. It was just the passion. So that was great.
Yeah, that's cool. And so how long ago, when was this? Like, how long ago now did you start?
Beginning of the year. So my first event was in March, but I met them, I think, in January.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, cool. And I suppose, like, how many events have you done so far this year? 3, yeah.
Because of
COVID.
Well,
COVID, yeah. But there's a lot more coming up. Will you be at Bathurst? You'll probably be at Bathurst and that as well coming up. That's next this month now, is it?
It will be at the end of this month to the beginning of December.
December,
so
yeah. It's like the last weekend,
5th?
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, cool.
So it's a 6-day event. So it'll start from, I think it's November 29th, 30th, up until December 5th.
Yeah. Fuck, it'll be hot there.
It will be.
Like, it's usually the weekend after a long weekend, isn't it? In October. Yeah. So they pushed that back, obviously, because of lockdown and whatnot. They want fans there. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be the same without fans.
Exactly.
So growing up, did you were you like supercars fan as well? Or?
Yep. So I always used to watch. I didn't watch every single round, but I was like everyone else. Loved Bathurst. I was a big like Holden fan. Didn't like Fords, even though I drive a Ford now.
Yeah. She's got a Mustang. You should say it.
I know. I've broken my own heart with it because I really wanted a V8, but I couldn't find a Holden version, or like I'm not gonna buy a Camaro. I'm 21.
Yeah.
So Mustang seemed to be the way to go. Plus, it's a classic. So yeah, I went into that. But no, I love. I've been loving V8s ever since I was younger. I was more into Formula One. Religiously watched that, but V8s I was always watching Bathurst 1000. You know, cheering it on, watching Lounsey, especially when he was winning. Yeah. And Gizzy, always following the Red Bull guys, which is great. But yeah, I've been obsessed with it ever since, and I'm even more obsessed with it now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what a journey that is. Like, in such a short amount of time as well for you. Mm-hmm. Is there a lot of other women any other women in in motorsport doing what you're doing at the moment? Yeah, there's a few. There's a lot more than there used to be. It used to be quite a lot of men, obviously, because in most sports, it's all male commentators or all male workers. But they've been doing really great initiatives lately, trying to get more women into motorsports. And the women who did break through into the motorsports world and who have been, you know, paving the way for all of us younger women, have been doing a really great job of that. And so it's a lot more supportive, and there are a lot more opportunities to get into motorsports for women. They've even started an initiative called Girls on Track, I believe, which I really wish they had when I was younger. But it's for like 14 to 18-year-olds, showing girls like everything about motorsports, you know, showing them different opportunities to be like engineers, like giving them little test days so they can try it out, see what they like, what they don't like. Helping them to be engineers or to work in the comms team or the business side of things. Even get into presenting as well, but it's really great. Yeah, cool. And so where do you see yourself sort of going from here? Like, do you want to end up working, you know, commentating for V8s or F1 or what? Look, F1 would be the goal. I think that's everyone's big dream. But you get to travel everywhere. Exactly. You get to go to Europe and fly around. You get paid to fly around and get to talk about cars all the time. That's that's my favorite thing about my job, is that I just get to talk about cars all the time. Yeah. But no, so the goal would definitely be to do supercars and then see what happens from there. But for right now, supercars is the goal, trying to get onto the main team. Because at the moment I'm just doing all the support series. Yeah. It was funny on the weekend. I was just following around all the people that I want to work with one day, like in the Supercars broadcast team. For example, my idol is Jess Yates. So she is the queen of V8 supercars. She even does a little bit of NRL. And I basically ran up to her on the weekend because I'd been introduced to her at Bathurst, which was great. But ran up to her on the weekend and was like, hey, like, can you explain how you do everything? Like, honestly, you make it look so easy, just talking constantly. I don't know how you do it because my brain just hasn't figured out how all the presenters seem so seamlessly to tell this story of like what happens on the weekend. So went up to her, asked her questions, and she was really great. She's also really supportive of helping me and helping all other women to get into motorsports.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's I suppose, and in terms of your own skill, I think the best way to learn is to actually do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just in this short period of time, do you see how much you've grown as
Yeah.
I guess not as. Are you as nervous? Do you get nervous still?
I still get a little bit nervous, but I think I'm more comfortable with it now.
Yeah.
At the beginning, go back and watch my first ever like piece to camera I do where I talk to camera. That's the most daunting thing for me because it's so easy for me to ask the questions, but when I have to speak to the camera, I'm like, maybe not. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first ever piece to camera actually ended up on KO, and you could see me bouncing the whole time because I'm so nervous and have so much energy to try and get out. And it was, I hate watching it. I hate watching myself speaking on camera, just seeing all the cringe like first times. Whereas now I'm a little bit better, a little bit smoother, trying to, pace myself as well. But yeah, I'm also trying to get voice coaching as well, like moving into that, just trying to make myself a better presenter as well to try and get further in life.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Did you, I suppose, like, I do a bit of, whatever as well, communications. I did communications at uni as well. But I used to hate also speaking to camera. I hated watching myself back. Yeah. Especially if we had to watch like we would do like a news take and we'd have to like do like a speak to camera part, and then we'd cut away to the story and there'd be like a voiceover and whatnot, like how they do like a news package. And watching that in class, I'd be like, fuck, this is so cringe. Like, I don't want to fucking ever watch this again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started like doing acting this year again at NIDA where we were forced to watch ourselves and critique ourselves and get critiqued by others. And I was like, actually, it's not that bad. Like, what's the worst? Like, obviously that was me. That was what I looked like in front of everyone doing it anyway. So it's like, well, fucking just watch it. Yeah. But no, that is, that's... It takes a while to get used to, but doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just the exposure as well. Just like if you are forced to watch yourself so many times, you get used to it. Same as like hearing yourself on camera. I know a few of the experts now, or the main game guys, they're just so used to hearing themselves or so used to seeing themselves. They're just like, oh yeah. Yeah. Whereas I watched myself and I was like, hey, that's me. Like, weird. Yeah. I don't really want to listen to this. It's a bit cringe, but that was my biggest thing as well. That I said to Chad, who is like my mentor and producer. I said to him, I was like, I don't know how to get rid of the weird funk, like get rid of the weirdness of doing this, because we had to do a voiceover and I was sitting in a car with him and we were doing a voiceover. And, I had to be like really animated and ambitious and, put so much like emphasis into your voice, but you're sitting in a car with someone next to you just like talking to a mic. It seems really weird. Yeah. Same as when you're doing it to camera, like you're trying to seem so animated and excited, which I usually am, but the second I get into a camera, I'm like, this is a bit weird. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's really great. I love doing it.
Yeah. And I suppose, I mean, you probably know a lot more people now within the industry than you did when you first started. So I guess that would make it easier to, and people know you as well. So... but yeah, so we'll delve a bit into, I suppose, being a woman in motorsport. Have you ever felt that there's a bit of judgment at all, or any sort of from any, not from your employer or anything, but from anyone within the industry, sort of, do you feel like women have to work harder within your role to make an impact?
Yeah, to an extent. So there are some, like I said, there are some really great role models. For example, Jess Yates. One of her main things that has stuck in my head that I saw her say in an interview was that she wants to be the best. She doesn't want to be the best female. She just wants to be the best. Yeah. And she puts in so much effort and she puts in a lot more work than, most of the other people I see. Like, she is honestly a legend. I watch her and I don't know how she does it. She can do it. She was at a race event 9 months pregnant, walking around, being an absolute boss. And I was like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, you're 9 months pregnant, you're about to pop, and you're walking around doing the same thing everyone else is doing. It was in like 30-degree heat as well. She had a blazer on and everything, like she was fully dressed. I was like, how are you not sweating? How are you not like aching from your feet? How are you still running around? And she's like, oh, it's fine. I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. Like a bit cool, but amazing. Like, I don't know how you're doing it. You're a superhero. But yeah, so she's really great watching that. But for myself, there's not been any criticism. It's more encouraged now to have more women in motorsport. So that when you are a woman now going into motorsport, it's like such a big thing. Everyone's so excited. They're like, oh my God, yay, come in, come.
Yeah.
And you get to, like, everyone's really welcoming. So I walk around basically when I'm not doing any of my reporting on the weekend for Toyota 86 series, you'll usually see me running around just trying to chat to people. I think I introduced myself to about 50 people on the weekend, just going around networking, being like, hi, I'm Bayli. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Just chatting, just trying to get to know more people as well, because I think that's a big benefit for if I do get to go into the big game for supercars, then people will know me more. I feel like when a woman jumps straight into motorsport, there's a lot of criticism from fans, not necessarily the sport itself, but there's a lot of criticism from fans being like, what is she doing here? What are her credentials?
Yeah.
They don't really question a guy too much.
Especially you're older.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose the best example I could think of would be Erin Molan in NRL. So I've met her a couple of times. Super, super nice girl.
Yeah.
Super nice. Really, like, she will take her time to talk to you. And I was studying journalism when I met her. Mm-hmm. And she's a journalist. Like, she's been a journalist for years now. And before she got into more, like, presenting and that.
Yeah.
And she gave me so many good tips and that. And I thought, fuck, she's such an awesome chick. And then you'll read the comments online. And they'll, like, tell Erin to shut the fuck up. She fucked the footy show.
Yeah,
she's
like,
a
why?
cunt. She's a this, that. And it's like... what the fuck? Like, you wouldn't say this to a bloke on there, or like to a former footy player who has no presenting experience whatsoever, talks like mumbles, but because he fucking played 300 games, like, we'll give him the job. Like, and
but you also wouldn't say it to her face either.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I just feel like women have, especially in sport, more male-dominated sport, I think that is it. That's it. It's the fans that are the issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hurdle, the biggest hurdle for women to jump over is that criticism from especially blokes who think, she's a woman. She wouldn't know what she's fucking talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's definitely from the fans, like the industry itself, like all the drivers, all the crew, all of the presenters, all the camera crews, everyone's super welcoming. But I feel like I've noticed in the past there have been... For example, you remember Charlie from High Five?
Yeah.
So she now does supercars, which is awesome.
Okay,
so she's had all this...
She was my favourite from High Five.
Yeah.
I frothed her.
She was the best.
Like, I remember going to a High Five concert and she was sick and she couldn't go and I cried to my mum. I was like, why is Charlie not here?
She's awesome. And so I got to meet her at Bathurst and she is so lovely. Like, she's obviously had all this experience because she did High Five. She's also done Getaway. She's done a few other different things.
Yeah.
And she has, like, loved racing ever since she was younger as well. But, like, it wasn't really too well known to most people. And so when she came into the V8 Supercars and broadcast, a lot of people were on there being like, why is she here? What's she doing? And everyone's like, well, she loves motorsports and she has so much broadcast experience. Who are you to judge?
Yeah.
Especially all these people at home that are just like, oh, you shouldn't be here. Like, oh, she's not good. I'm like, okay, you try it.
Yeah.
You come out here.
As they're sitting there with their Tui's new and they're fucking... Their sofa and... Yeah, I could do a better job than that.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I feel like it's a lot. And I feel like people as well at home are always sort of just like, oh, it's an easy job. Like, you're just sitting there asking people questions. It's not.
Yeah.
You have someone in your ear, like about 5 people in your ear telling you so many different things. And then you have to listen to the other person's answer so that you can base your questions off of that. And then you're also trying to think of like, what's next? Where you're going next? What to do? Like, you have to multitask so many different things. And I don't know how anyone could do that the first weekend and just absolutely nail it. Like, I don't think anyone has.
Yeah.
But she did a pretty amazing job. And there was so much backlash that was just unnecessary. But she's honestly held her head up high and she's doing great and still going. And I'm so, like, I idolize her for that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it would be. It would just take a bit, I reckon, just to get past that. I mean, some obviously never do. Like, I still see a lot of hate for people like Erin Molan and that.
Yeah.
But in saying that, there's women on Fox Sports and that that are really well loved.
Yeah.
That are in footy as well. Like, there's I'm trying to think of some names. Going blank. But yeah, there's a few even on Channel 9.
Yeah.
It just seems Erin Molan's like so hated. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the footy show ended once Freddie left and everyone blames her. I don't know. But no, I would say that yeah, I think the fans would be the biggest hurdle to jump over, and but you would get there. You would get there. Have you copped anything from anyone watching at all? Have you ever seen any negative comments?
I don't think so. I don't think that I've actually posted anything for anyone to say anything negative about.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried at one point because I had the biggest interview of my life at Fink Desert Race where I interviewed Craig Lowndes, and I also interviewed Toby Price. And I listened to it now and I'm like, wow, that was my second event doing the second event I did, and my questions were awful, or like the way I presented them were awful. But then they ended up getting posted on supercars.com website, and I was constantly checking the comments, being like, oh, I hope no one said anything bad. And I was like, why am I worried? I'm only starting out. Of course, I'm not going to be great at it. I shouldn't be worried. If people want to say something, people are going to say something. That's just a reflection of them, not me. But no, thankfully, no one said anything bad. It was just my parents watched my first thing at Bathurst, and all they said was why are you bouncing so much? And I was like, because I'm nervous, leave me alone.
I feel like parents are the biggest critics. They are.
Oh no, they love me for it, but they love it for me, but they were just watching being like, why are you bouncing? And I was like, do you want to do my job?
Yeah. That's the same with my acting. I'll show mum a self-tape I do. I recently did, I don't know if you saw The Wolf of Wall Street when I did.
I think so, yeah.
And I showed it to my mum. I was so fucking proud of it. I showed it to my mum, and all she said was, oh, your face went quite red there. I said, yeah, mum, because it's a fucking energetic, angry scene, passionate scene. And she's like, why'd you have to yell so loud?
Yeah.
It's fucking in the moment, man.
I know.
It takes over.
Nothing's been too bad so far, but yeah, parents definitely.
Parents, biggest critics for sure. So looking forward, how many more events do you have lined up for this year?
For this year, so I'm working for the 4th weekend of Supercars, doing Toyota 86 again, and then we'll be at Bathurst doing the 86 as well. So that'll be a big 6-day event.
So you get to stay there and watch everything the whole time. Did you watch the V8s on the weekend as well?
Of course I did.
Yeah, man. They were under lights too, weren't they? It was at night time. First ever time, was it?
No, they've done it before, but it was back again, and now they're doing it for 4 weeks. And every time they do a big night, it's always exciting at Sydney Motorsport Park. No, they've done it before, I think back in 2018.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, it's really cool.
My old man actually used to race cars as well, just in a car club. He raced a Triumph. Do you know Triumphs? The old British motor cars?
Yep. So
he was in a Triumph club. He raced. He actually crashed at Eastern Creek.
Oh my god.
And they used to race without with no roofs, because they were convertibles.
Yeah.
So he had the roof down, helmet on and all that.
Yep.
But the stub axle broke and he actually flipped the car at Eastern Creek. And he was showing me on the weekend where he crashed. And flipped it, and the car slid another 150 meters.
Yep.
And his helmet actually came off. And we weren't there, luckily, but everyone apparently thought his head was inside the helmet. My God. They thought he'd been decapitated.
Yep.
And so it was pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, he ended up being all right. He went to work 2 days later. He's a Sparky. He's fucking not going to keep me down. Fuck this, I'm bored. No. But yeah, crazy. But so I grew up, probably similar to your family as well, going to car meets and hanging out with all the other kids and being in the sheds there and it was just so much fun. I used to ride my bike and scooter around because it was all all beautiful concrete. It was so easy to ride on. And we used to go. Goulburn was my favorite place.
Yeah.
What's that called there? Wakefield, is it?
Yeah, that Wakefield.
Yeah. That was my favorite place to go. It was always so much fun. Everyone was there too. It was the big car meet of the year. So everyone was there. And Yeah, I grew up with that, but after Dad crashed, he didn't race again.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it scared him, but he doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, no, you definitely. I've noticed a few because obviously my dad raced, and he says it all the time. Like confidence is key for all drivers, and so for them to get in a car after an accident is such a big thing. But they need to get back into it to start again.
I think that's the biggest mistake he made was just to. I mean, obviously he had to rebuild the car too, so that kept him out for a while, and then he built it into a road car. But I think he built it into a road car as kind of like a, admitting defeat of I'm not going to get back in that to race again. But I don't know. Yeah, it was it was one of my favorite memories growing up. Like every time we used to go to a car meet and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good fun.
It's crazy that your dad used to race as well because my dad used to do at Oran Park. He used to actually test for Glenn Seaton and Peter Brock.
Right. Okay.
So I found photos the other day of him actually at Oran Park and Winton. In Peter Brock's old car and in Glenn Seaton's old car. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And he was like, don't tell anyone about that. Please don't tell anyone about that. I was like, why? And he goes, because I never made it, so don't tell anyone. I tell everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's going on a podcast.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, man, Peter Brock. Peter Brock, what a legend.
I know.
That was my dad's all-time hero.
It was everyone's.
Yeah, and my hero was Steve Irwin.
Same, yeah.
And Steve Irwin died, and then Peter Brock died on that Friday of that same week. And I remember me and my dad just being like, fuck life, hey.
I know, we lost two legends in 1 week.
1 week. And it was, that was fucked too. And they both died in sudden events as well. Yeah. So it was you didn't see it coming. Also, rest in peace, Bert Newton.
Oh.
Do you know how he died?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
That's
you know
sad.
Bert Newton?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died. Haven't you been on social media?
No.
I shouldn't be laughing.
My social media is all motorsports.
I was out for my birthday and someone's like, Bert Newton died. I'm like, what? The fuck?
I have not seen that.
Yeah, it died on Saturday.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So rest in peace. Great entertainer.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sad.
But anyway, we're getting a bit off topic. here.
No, it's all right.
So you also work at the gym. Mm-hmm. Just a bit of extra coin.
Yeah, trying to keep the pay during the week consistent.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. I'm starting at Claro Tav tonight, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Pouring some beers.
Nice.
Yeah. Bit of extra money. Extra coin. Pay for the bags on the weekend. Hey, it's good to be honest, right? It's good to be honest. Yeah, no, you don't need to. You're a good girl. You're always out there. You're always the one driving me places because I'm too pissed.
I try to.
You're always like, I can drive us to Richmond. Done. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm usually everyone's Uber driver.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah.
And the best part is you seem drunk too to everyone.
Never.
Because you're just fun.
It's only on a rare occasion, but no, it's usually I just go out and try and have fun, and I don't usually need it to have fun, which is good.
Yeah, fuck, I do, eh? Actually, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. What's the, say a big event like Bathurst, or even a, it was, what was it, 3-day event over the weekend?
Yeah.
4-day event?
3-4.
What's the party scene like with the workers, people who work? I mean, nothing illegal, obviously, but...
No, so at the moment it's a bit hard because of COVID. So actually everyone was in a bubble on the weekend and they still are up until the 4th weekend. And I think even Bathurst they'll be in a bubble. So, you know how we were talking about before, atmosphere and getting to meet the fans, they couldn't actually do that this weekend.
Yeah.
So the drivers just had to stick with their teams and they couldn't go up and sign autographs for fans or say hi, which was really sad for some of the young kids.
Yeah.
But no, they couldn't really do anything party-wise. I think they were just having a few beers around, and having pizza. Couldn't really go out or do anything. Bathurst is usually a pretty big weekend, not really for the teams, but for everyone else. I know when I worked with Red Bull, we would go into town and go to a few of the bars on Friday or Saturday nights, and they would be packed.
Yeah.
They were dirty too. They're like Cranbar.
Yeah.
They reminded me of Cranbar. I was like, this is bad. But no, it gets pretty wild. Just all of the spectators just go out and have fun. And I think a few of the drivers wish they could, but some of them don't.
And at Bathurst, you're already allowed, what is it? 1 case per day per person?
Yeah. People go and actually, weeks beforehand and bury beer and wine, in the grandstand.
1 case isn't enough?
Yeah. They
Fucking
have to,
Jesus.
They have to bury more, so that they can...
I couldn't think of sitting there and needing more than 24 beers.
No, they need heaps. So, people actually go and bury them like beforehand and then go back to that spot and dig it up.
You gotta love the Aussie culture, eh?
Yeah,
you gotta love the Aussie culture. That is fucking funny. That is funny. I really want to go to Bathurst.
No, it's the best event ever.
Maybe I should go. Is there still tickets available?
I have no idea.
Maybe I'll go. So. You don't think so?
They could. Oh, they could be actually.
Maybe I'll just go for like one day. Maybe I'll just go for the Sunday or something.
Yeah, it's a big day.
Yeah, that would be a big day. I don't know how I drive home. I'd have to stay there.
Yeah.
Say that. You're allowed to camp there, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. They're I think they're increasing because of restrictions are getting eased like more and more each week. I think they've just increased the amount of campsites as well.
Okay,
so,
cool.
That's all good, but I think they're booked out at the moment. Same with accommodation around Bathurst.
Yeah.
It's booked out.
Plus anything at the moment because everyone was locked down for so long.
Yeah.
Like they're just jumping at the chance to go anywhere, really. Like I've even seen some random as fuck shit on Ticketek that I've just like clicked into to see like, oh, what's this? And it'll be like sold out. I'll be like, what the fuck? I've never even heard of this. People.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good for the economy and that people are just wanting to go out and do shit again.
Going back to normalcy.
Yeah, somewhat normalcy. I mean, you got to show 50 pieces of paper just to get in anywhere.
True.
But anyway, we all know my views on that. But yeah, so I guess I mean we'll sort of wrap it up. But what would you say? I'll let you take the floor here. What would you say to a young girl or even a young boy watching this that wants to be a broadcaster, wants to follow their dream in whatever sport or whatever they want to do? If they would just want to be a journalist, what would your advice be?
My two biggest bits of advice would probably be just take the chance because you're better off just trying and failing rather than not trying at all.
Yeah.
Because, what's the worst that could happen? You fail and you stay where you are. Same thing that happened with me. And there's been some pretty amazing experiences from things where I'm like, you know what's the harm? Let's just try it out. And it actually works out most of the time, which is great. And also my other biggest tip is networking. I'm a big believer in like, it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know, just talking to as many people as you can because they're the people that will help guide you and help mentor you and also help you get into all these places to start getting work.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like I said, on the weekend, I met 50 people trying to get just more like experience, more advice, just trying to better myself as well. So definitely just network. I remember when I started out when I was 18, I was emailing every single race team being like, how do I get a job as like a press officer? And then after I wanted to be a presenter, I was like, how do I get a job as a presenter? Messaged about 50 people. Half of them didn't respond, but the like ones that did, it was really great. Yeah. So you may as well just do the masses.
And I would also agree with you about LinkedIn. Very important. Yeah. Super fucking important. I suppose that gets drilled into you pretty hard at uni, especially doing communications. Where are you studying, by the way?
Western Sydney Uni.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. At Kingswood or?
Parramatta.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you have Margot?
Dunphy?
Yeah,
I did.
Man, she's my favorite tutor of all time.
Love her.
Shout out to Margot. I actually, she was like, I used to give her so much shit. Yeah. Do you have her at the moment?
No, I think she might be a unit coordinator for something.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, if you see her around, bring up me and she'll go, fucking hell. I used to give her so much shit because she's from Bondi. Yeah. So I used to be like, what are you doing in Western Sydney? Fuck off back to the eastern suburbs.
Oh, God.
I gave her a hard time. But
I could not imagine being your tutor.
Oh, man. It was funny. At Kingswood, every kid there, like, in my class and that, they loved my jokes and shit. I went to Parramatta, and it was like, fucking shut up, bro. Like, we're trying to learn, eh?
Yeah, not a chance.
Fucking get a dick up, y'all. Like, have a laugh, cunt. I'm trying to make your lives more enjoyable. Yeah. Let's be real. We're not learning anything here anyway. Yeah. You learn when you're at home, just fucking trying to get the assignment done. At least I did. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I didn't.
No, I definitely learned more from like experience and working. I barely remember anything from uni. Yeah. I don't think it's helpful at all.
So are you majoring in journalism?
No, I actually majored in advertising and PR because, like I said, I wanted to be a press officer.
Right. Yes.
So I actually didn't go anywhere near journalism.
That's funny. See, I majored in journalism, sub-majored in advertising. Yeah. And I work in sales in advertising now. I mean, I also do this, which is sort of journalism in a way. Podcasting, whatever, radio presenting. Yeah. But no, communications is really cool. It's a really fun industry.
No, it's a really great uni course as well. It's quite easy. That sounds bad, but
I found that too. Hey, a lot of people ask me about that, and they're like, "Was it hard?" I'm like, literally, no.
Yeah, I had friends being like, "Oh, I have like a 3,000 word report." I'm like, "I have 500 word reflection."
Yeah. Yeah. So you just talk about what your experience was like writing the previous assignment. Like
yeah. I was like, I have to write 600 words for this group assignment that everyone else is doing as well. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, some of the shit got a bit harder towards the end.
Yeah.
But I mean, not really.
I struggled a little bit towards the end with COVID, but you know.
Yeah, that would be hard. It would be hard to do anything online.
Yeah.
Or like the random shit you have to do too, like photography and like, did you ever do Oh no, because you didn't do journalism.
No, I had to do visual storytelling, which was fun.
Visual story, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That was like the first year units, I think.
Ah, I do remember that class actually.
Yeah, and you had to do like a fairy tale. You had to change a fairy tale into like a more modern. Oh no, you had to do something where you changed a fairy tale. And so I chose Cinderella, and instead of her having the prince try and find her, like, you know, to marry her and everything, I did the prince was like stalking her. Like making it a bit like scary. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was fun.
That's cool. Yeah. I can't even really remember the assignments I did. All I know is I passed. So
it's all that matters.
Got
Please
that
get
degree.
degrees.
That's it. Actually, you know, I went pretty good. At uni. I helped a lot of other people too. I'd like smash my assignments and people would be like, oh, can you help me out? I'll be like, yeah.
I did that with the quizzes. I was always the person that people went to for quizzes, for quiz answers.
Same. Cameron Moss, if you are watching this, and he will be, because he was on this podcast a few, earlier on in the year. Mate, he knows how much I fucking did for him at uni.
I helped probably about like 4 people get through their degree because I helped them with their quizzes because they were failing. And I was like, do you just want the answers? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Get a quick 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was like, you just have to buy me food though.
Yeah, I didn't really ask for anything in return.
No,
Fucked myself over. I
got some of my friends to give me food. I was just doing it on them. Even one of my friends, he races in Super 2. For V8s, and like we did uni together, and he would be away racing on the weekend, and I'm like, we have a quiz due, and he's like, I haven't done it, and I was like, here's the answers, and he would just like, I saw him on the weekend with his friend who used to be out with him, and he's like, oh, like the friend was like, oh, you're the girl that used to just send him like the answers, because he would just whip out his computer for like 5 minutes, do a quick quiz, and then pop them away, but he was looking at his phone for the answers.
That's
and I was like, yeah, that was me.
The first year I remember Cameron, my mate.
Yeah.
Good mate of mine. Love him to death. But I remember the first year he was doing the dodgy. He was saying, I'll do it one week, you do it the next week.
Oh, yeah.
But he was doing that with 2 people. So he wasn't doing it at all. Me and this other person were just doing it for the fucking cunt.
That's the best.
So I was like, man, I must give it to you. That's pretty smart. That's fucking smart. I should have looked into that. But also I was like, fuck you. Like, I've done all this work. You've done nothing. But in saying that, each week I got the answers as well from the other person. So kind of worked out okay for me.
He technically did do the work because he like went and got the other person.
Yeah,
and had to swap them.
he was street smart. He just wasn't very book smart. So.
No.
But yeah, so looking forward to the rest of the year and especially Bathurst. That's the big one. That's the one you'd be looking forward to most, probably, isn't it? And like, do they put you up in like accommodation and everything?
They usually do. So we'll see what happens. I mean, like my whole team is filled with guys, and it's actually quite funny because my boss is he has daughters, and so he was like, he doesn't worry about me with like the guys, but he just worries that I won't feel comfortable all the time, and he's like constantly watching me being like, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Are you good? Like, we won't do this if you're not comfortable. I'm like, it's fine. Like, I've grown up in the Hawkesbury, like I've grown up in racing, like I'm used to it. And he's like, no, like if you're not okay. And I'm like, I'm fine. And he's like, no, but still. And I'm like, I'm fine. Trust me, I'm okay. Put me wherever you want. I'll sleep on the lounge. I don't care. I'm not that like high maintenance. Trust me. And he's like, no, but seriously.
Well, that's really good. Great. They care. They care a lot, obviously.
They do. They're very supportive.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, I mean, I guess we should have really finished on the advice part because that was a nice wrap up.
It was.
But then we kept going. But that's all right. It's speak free. This is what we do.
We never stop talking.
But I guess to wrap up, again for real this time.
Yeah.
I guess. What is the one thing you love most about your job?
The fact that it doesn't even feel like a job, because I just get to talk about the thing I love all day, which is cars and racing, and talk to all the people that I used to idolize growing up. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I never shut up about it. It's the reason we didn't stop.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for speaking free with Matty G. Yeah, this will be available soon on Spotify and on YouTube. So get keen for that.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Remember, speak free with Matty G.